Good afternoon from Little Creek Bee Ranch. I wanted to share a tip with you or show you something. These two buckets are on our feeding station way in the back of our pasture near the pond. The bucket on the left has got Bee Pro Brood Builder from Man Lake, which is cool, a good product. But I put it in a bucket about a half a pint and sifted it in a bucket and just set it out there for them. Now, the bees are in it, but my point to you is there ought to be a cloud of bees here. And they're not. It's about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there ought to be a whole bunch of bees on there. And then this bucket over here is just a residual honey bucket. We poured up a bucket of honey this morning in our pour bucket, and this was the bucket it came from. And there's, some residual honey in the back. And I sprinkled a little bit of powder in there, and the bees have cleaned this up. But my point in showing you this is there ought to be a whole lot of bees on this right now. This time of year, here in early October, bees are resource sensitive, so they ought to be just a cloud of bees. Now what that tells me is there's probably some good goldenrod nectar still moving and still some pollen to grab out there, because they're not, I don't consider this like, focused. Bees are real focused on this. Now if there was a big old cloud of bees here, then they would be. There are. And they may very well work on this tonight, but right now I think what I'm seeing is they're in the field. There's just a few bees here. I've seen a big old giant cloud before. Just depends upon what they want to focus on. And the other bucket next to it, just residual honey, and the girls are kind of sucking some of that up. And bricks, bricks there just to steady it. I know we'll have a storm come through tonight, but they'll probably get water and blown about. But you can do a little bit of feeding just to know where the bees are, because if there was not very much resources out in the field, they'd be a big old giant cloud of bees on this right here. And the bucket on the left's been out here for the day. I just set down the bucket on the right, so they'll go in there and eat that honey up. They'll eat that honey up here pretty quick, but there just ought to be more bees on it, which is really a good thing, because it tells me they're working the fields or whatever. They're out foraging for themselves like they're supposed to be. Just a little test, just to kind of indicator to kind of tell you what the bees are doing. Notice, they like the powder. I mean, they do, or they wouldn't be in there on it. And they can't pick up kernels, but they can work powder. And I'm sitting here with my bee jacket and my veil off. They're not going to bother me. They're after powder. They're focused. There's one covered with a whole bunch of powder. She's flying around, covered with a bunch of powder. She'll take it back. Here's some of them over here, eating. Take an old bucket that's clean, turn it sideways. She's grooming. Yeah, man, they're trying to take some of that powder back home. Anyway, every time I see something interesting here, that bee right there's got a little bit of pollen on her. Grooming behavior on the right. Take the time and watch your bees and learn their behaviors and body language. This girl over here, she's licking stuff up with her tongue. Proboscis. Yep. There's another one licking up stuff with her tongue. They find what they like to eat and they'll suck it up with their tongue. Yep, there they go. Here's another one digging around. She's digging. Look at her rooting just like old pig at the trough, man. Miss Piggy. They're not stupid. They know they want some good food, good protein. Yep, for winter stores. Yep. Another one. This is the kind of stuff that I think is so interesting, is the detailed behaviors. What are they doing, you know? Looking at them and reading their body language and watching their tongue. And when you see a bee land and her abdomen's pulsing, she's breathing. She's been working hard to fly. She's got little auricles down the side of her abdomen. And when they land, you'll see their abdomen's pulse. And she's breathing. She don't breathe through her mouth. She breathes through the sides of her abdomen. They eat through their mouths. I really wanted to just come down here and show you that there weren't very many bees, but I love the details of the bees and what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. This one right here is interesting. She just keeps rooting. Where is she? Where'd she go? She's flying around. Yep. Anyway, I thought that's pretty cool. Have an awesome day.